mental decisions that have been very progressive in courts of law.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I can just jump in. Three core roles that are played by PBOs. One is, in addition to what Martin has said, accountability and providing checks and balances to the government, in addition to the various arms of government that do the same. The PBOs help to hold government to account through various ways, including court petitions, parliamentary petitions, and including picketing and other ways and strategies. That's one. Two, they complement the work of government. You've just seen the recent floods, for instance. Quite a number of PBOs actually stepped in to just bridge the gap in terms of where the government couldn't, including, we have county governments struggling with issues around public participation, and you've seen quite a number of public benefit organizations step in to provide technical expertise, even when developing county integrated development plans. Third, we also have, of course, again, this is partly what Martin has also said, being the voices of the silent majority. Yeah, sometimes even including in the discussions around the finance bill currently and quite a number of issues, including the NADCO report, there are those majority of Kenyans that have no technical know-how to interact with such kind of debates. And of course, so we have support from the PBOs to actually even make them to be just their voices in the front line. Yeah,
it has been argued before
that
actually PBOs are not the voice of the citizen; they are the voice of their benefactor, and the benefactor is not a local benefactor. Many times, many of the CBOs and CSOs are funded by external funders. So they are a voice of those external funders. And you come out there and you say you're representing the people in a public participation forum or in agitation in court or whatever, but really, there's no link between an actual conversation between the said PBO and the citizens that then leads to them coming out to say we are speaking on behalf of Wanjiku.
Yeah, we've had different narratives. Number one, of course, PBOs have been called foreign agents. PBOs have been called evil society. PBOs have been called factories of individuals who would want to benefit themselves. And these are just negative narratives that are, of course, engineered sometimes and in most cases by the state to just ensure that there is no goodwill from the people. But then if you look at even when this bill was going through Parliament, even when the amendments in 2014, 2015, the amendments that were tabled in Parliament, parliamentarians came out very strongly. One of the current CS, I believe is in defense currently, actually was one of those that was very loud in Parliament and said, from where he comes from, most of the services are actually given by PBOs. And of course, I won't delve much. I know we have, in every space you must have rotten apples. Yeah, we have those that, come out to just benefit themselves. But of course, that is partly why this law was passed. And if you look at this law now, it's trying to build the sustainability of PBOs. Number one, it's promoting income generating or economic activities as part of promoting sustainability so that you don't over-rely on external and foreign donations, so you can engage in business. So, so far as that the profit will go back into benefiting the public. So that's one. Two is that now PBOs will also have an opportunity to get preferential treatment in government procurement and of course tendering processes as a means of sustaining them, so that we also remove the banner of foreign agencies. Finally, we also have, in some cases where you collaborate with government, under this current law, government now may directly fund the PBOs to actually provide the services to the people. And so that negative narrative that is attached to foreign funding is actually to be cured by this piece of legislation. That's why we are saying this is actually very good for the sector. Very many organizations closed from between 2013 and 2024. First, when we had devolution, most donors withdrew funding, starting to support county governments.
Yeah.
Some closed shop. Between 2013 and 2015, when Kenya was declared middle income country, the development partners that were supporting Kenya actually withdrew and started supporting now Somalia. I mean, most of the funding actually were diverted to low income countries. When we now got into 2019, 2020, and with now Corona, the pandemic, again, every country, including those that support Kenyan local PBOs, were actually supported, and most funding were actually cut. Now, the war in Ukraine is actually war in Ukraine currently, and of course the global economic meltdown, as we are aware. Most NGOs and most PBOs currently now have received written communication that because of the war in Ukraine, because of the economic difficulties in the West, 50%, 60% budget cuts. And so, and that's partly why we were actually pushing for this piece of legislation to just ensure that sustainability of local PBOs is actually
entrenched.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so Eric,